Making headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen is ordered to divide the land of Tollasap Lakeland in Zone 2 and Zone 3 for the people who live in the villages on that land for a long time, with consideration of historical factors and people's living conditions. Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that the world recovers from the crisis COVID-19. Russia-Ukraine war has created new problems that are affecting other countries, including development in Asia. The United States does not seek to sever China from the global economy, but wants Beijing to adhere to international rules. Bitcoin has lost half its value since November 10's peak of 69,000. This week is flirting with 30,000 after touching a 17th-month low of $25,401. And finally, Phra Phonglu Salpak is pleased to present the Tini Tanu International Circus Festival in Battambang from the 29th of May to the 3rd of June 2022. Artists from Cambodia, Thailand, Taiwan and France will perform with students to inspire them to pursuing their dreams through the arts. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. Prime Minister Hun Sen has ordered to divide the land on Tollasap Lake land into Zone 2 and Zone 3 for the people who have lived in the villages on the land for a very long time, with consideration of historical factors of people living conditions. Prime Minister Hun Sen confirmed the division of the land in a special statement on Friday morning. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has the details.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that the conservation of the Tonle Sap Lake is necessary, but consideration must also be given to historical factors and the living standards of the people. He ordered for the situation on the ground to be checked and ordered for the land to be divided according to where villagers have lived for a long time, many since they were born, including the communes, districts and pagodas that they have always known. The Prime Minister has ordered the Minister of Land, Deputy Prime Minister Chia Sopara, and the provincial governors of districts and communes in those zones to take responsibility and make a request on behalf of the people for the land to be kept as the zone which they have known and submit it to the royal government for decision. The Licado Deputy Director for the Monitoring Program, Samat, has said that he supports the Prime Minister's decision.
ខ្ញុំគាំទ្រហើយខ្ញុំយល់ថាការសម្រេចរបស់ប្រមុខរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលសម្ដេចតេជោនេះវាជារឿងត្រឹមត្រូវចំពោះប្រជាពលរដ្ឋដែលគាត់បានតាំងទីលំនៅនិងការរស់នៅតជំនាន់មកហើយជាយូរយារមកហើយណាគួរណាស់តែគាត់អាចនឹងរស់នៅបន្តហើយអាចនឹងទទួលបាននៅបានកម្មសិទ្ធិសម្រាប់គាត់ពួកគាត់ណាបាទប៉ុន្តែអ្វីដែលសំខាន់ទន្ទឹមនឹងការសម្រេចរបស់ប្រមុខរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលនេះអាជ្ញាធរធ្វើម៉េចត្រូវតែមានវិធានការក្នុងការទប់ស្កាត់ដើម្បីកុំឲ្យមានការរុករានបន្តខុសពីអ្វីដែលរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលលោកសម្រេច
The Tonle Sap Lake is divided into 3 zones. The first zone is the zone where people can live and can be registered. The second zone is the zone between Zone 1 and Zone 3, allows people to get benefits from the land through farming, and Zone 3 is the flooded forest area with strictly protected land. According to Prime Minister Hun Sen, in the past, he asked the Minister of Land and the provincial governor along the Tonle Sap Lake to adjust the boundaries of Zone 3 and Zone 2 in 3 provinces, including Pursat, Banti Minche, and Kampong Thom, with about 144 hectares between Zone 2 and Zone 1 to be for more than 9,000 families, and about 9,800 hectares between Zone 3 and Zone 2 to be provided for 3,400 families. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has ordered provincial governors, district governors and commune chiefs along the Tonle Sap Lake area to take responsibility for local people and prepare documents to submit to the royal government of the provision of the land to the people who have lived on that area for a very long time. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has more.
Speaking during a special live broadcast on the topic of the Tonle Sap Lake on Friday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen issued an order to the Minister of Land Management, Deputy Prime Minister Chisupara, as well as the provincial governors, district governors, and commune chiefs in the area around the lake to take on the responsibility of meeting the needs of the people living along the Tonle Sap Lake in order to have a clear and correct division of land area that still allows the people to benefit from the land. The Prime Minister's statement on this case came after he decided to re-establish the Tonle Sap Lake border post with consideration given to the living conditions and historical factors of the area where many people have lived for a long time.
ចឹងបន្ទុកនេះគឺត្រូវតែជាបន្ទុករបស់ថ្នាក់ឃុំដែលប្រជាពលរដ្ឋនឹងបោះឆ្នោតជូនអស់លោកនៅពេលខាងមុខនេះហើយអស់លោកត្រូវទទួលខុសត្រូវចំពោះមុខប្រជាពលរដ្ឋនៅទីនោះសម្រាប់ការដែលកត់ប្រកបការផលក្នុងរយៈពេលយូរមកហើយបូកជាមួយហើយបាស្រុកហើយបាខេត្តហើយខ្ញុំចាំតែចុះហត្ថលេខាទេខ្ញុំអាចចុះហត្ថលេខាកែតម្រូវចុះហត្ថលេខាបានតាមសំណើហើយខ្ញុំក៏អាចចុះហត្ថលេខាកែតម្រូវបានដែរ
Prime Minister Hun Sen also appealed to the people who received the land to do farming, not invade neighboring land by trying to expand further in size, and to not allow other people from other places, namely businessmen or powerful people, to conspire with citizens and invade many hectares of land and unlawfully rent to others like in the past. He also called on provincial governors, district governors, and commune chiefs to be accountable to the royal government on behalf of the local people on this issue. Dekadin, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that as the world recovers from the crisis of COVID-19, the Russia-Ukraine war has created new problems for the world and is affecting other countries, including development in Asia. The Prime Minister made this remark at the 27th International Conference on the Future of Asia on Friday morning. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has the details.
Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that the war in Ukraine has caused a sharp change in the global security environment, high uncertainty and unpredictable dangers, especially causing negative consequences on the recovery of socioeconomic development in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister also envisioned that this war clearly marked the return of fierce competition between superpowers, which is making the world move toward a new turning point of disunity, divided political and geopolitical ideologies, and coercing small states into choosing between these superpowers. He further shared his views on the work and priorities of Asia in what he saw as an increasingly divided world, calling on all Asian countries to stand together, respect sovereignty and independence, the principle of non-interference, respect each other's way of life, traditions, customs, and history of each country. He also said that adhering to the principles of multilateralism and rules-based international cooperation are two rules that Asia must continue to adhere by. The Prime Minister said, "We must not allow any country to be hindered in its development efforts by the imposition of unilateral sanctions, embargoes, or other coercive economic measures that violate international law as well as the core principles and purposes as enshrined in the United Nations Charter." In addition, he urged Asian countries to promote regional cooperation for mutual benefit by building solidarity and mutual trust, promoting economic recovery, and addressing common challenges. As the chairman of ASEAN in 2022, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced that Cambodia, together with other ASEAN member states, will strive to play a more active role in building a bright future for the Asian continent and the world. He said they are strengthening ASEAN's centrality and unity to ensure ASEAN's resilience and robustness against the pressure and influence stemming from intensifying geopolitical competition and other challenges. While speaking at the World Economic Forum earlier this week, on the night of Wednesday, 25th May, Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that Cambodia is currently holding a hot stone in reference to four major issues the country faces as the 2022 ASEAN chair, including the ongoing Myanmar crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, the conflict surrounding the South China Sea, and the Russia-Ukraine war. He said that in line with these major issues, geopolitical competition makes organizing ASEAN ever more difficult at this time. The Prime Minister further stated, "I also noticed that our friends who are superpowers told us that there is no need to choose between them, and we also confirmed that if those countries let us choose, we will not." He added that any initiative in the Asia-Pacific region or Asia-Pacific for Cambodia and ASEAN is based on 3 principles: to serve peace and development, to not be against any country, and to respect the unity of ASEAN centrality. Political analyst M. Sovanara told EAC News on Thursday that in a context where ASEAN is now at the center of a rivalry between the world's superpowers, staying at the center of ASEAN is the best position to take in 2022.
ប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលដែលយើងសន្យានៅក្នុងកិច្ចប្រជុំកម្ពុជាពិសេសអាស៊ានអាមេរិកកិច្ចប្រជុំសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនៅ Davos នៅប្រទេសស្វីសនេះខ្ញុំគិតថាវេទិកាពិភពលោកគាត់ចាក់ថ្មីសេដ្ឋកិច្ចហ្នឹងគឺវាល្អសម្រាប់តំបន់អាស៊ានសម្រាប់កម្ពុជាដែលប្រកាន់នៅគោលនយោបាយជាកណ្ដាលសម្រាប់មហាអំណាចទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងគឺជាកិច្ចការមួយល្អដែលអាចរក្សានៅតំបន់អាស៊ានឬក៏កម្ពុជាហ្នឹងគេផុតពីឥទ្ធិពលឬក៏និន្នាការនយោបាយរបស់មហាអំណាចមួយណាផ្ដាច់មុខបាន
The New York Times reported on 24th April that the geopolitical landscape following Russia's invasion of Ukraine is often likened to that of a new Cold War. While the main major rivals in the world are likely the United States, Russia, and increasingly China, the role of reshaping the global order has now shifted to other countries after more than 75 years. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
Permanent member of the Central Committee of the Cambodian People's Party, Lieutenant General Hun Manet, has stated with the Democracy Society, people have many choices to vote and have to vote for themselves, for their families and for their society, not for the benefit of any party. He made this remark during a meeting with the leaders and members of the working group and the youth activists of the party of the Srei Sanor district, Kompancham province on Friday. EAC News reported that Shona Guchin has more details.
Lieutenant General Hun Manet said that in the 43 years after the overthrow of the democratic Kampuchea and the Khmer Rouge, Cambodia has transformed from a country just emerging from the killing fields to a country of peace, strong economy, opportunity, and all kinds of freedom for the people, especially the opportunity of personal development for youth and children. He said, "In this regard, the best party is the Cambodian People's Party, which has always provided warmth to the people without discrimination." He added that this is a party that has experience in the past, has the ability to maintain stability in the present, and can guarantee confidence for a bright future. Lieutenant General Hun Manet also called on the people to continue trusting and voting for the CPP through the one party member, one party supporter, one vote for the party campaign, to exercise their rights as citizens of this country, and to vote for the party that has the commitment and willingness to serve the people and local development, as has been done in the past, and which will continue to strive to promote efficiency of work. He also said that the Cambodian government always evaluates its performance to see the strengths, weaknesses, improve negative issues, and fill in the missing points to serve the people better from one mandate to another. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
The Secretary of State of Ministry and Social Affairs, Veterans of Youth Rehabilitation, Chan Makra, has requested the ministries and institutions working with the field of education and other relevant partners, including the private sector, to expand the promotion and the provision of the non-discriminatory education and special education classes in schools for autistic children. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the story.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Social Affairs, Bung Sot, at the launch of the report on the situational analysis of people with autism in Cambodia on Friday, 27th of May, Secretary of State Amchan Makara said that currently the number of specialized schools in both the public and private sectors that provide support for children and autism is still small. In addition, the knowledge of appropriate methods and tools for teaching children with autism is still lacking, leading to some schools being reluctant to enroll children with autism. He continued that currently the gap between policy and implementation for the benefit of persons with disabilities, especially those with autism, is still limited, which makes understanding the situation of people with autism and their needs among the general public and other stakeholders limited as well. Moreover, access to health and rehabilitation services is provided only in a few urban areas. Secretary of State Amchan Makara said, in addition to the challenges mentioned above, the royal government is also concerned about the legacy of families with autistic people. The question is, who can an autistic person rely on when parents or family abandon them, or when their parents die, because we do not yet have a center to continue looking after them? The second secretary of the Australian Embassy in Cambodia, Connor Floyd, said that autism spectrum disorders are a diverse group of conditions. Characteristics may be detected in early childhood, but are often not diagnosed until much later. People with autism are often subject to stigma and discrimination, including unjust deprivation of healthcare, education, and opportunities to engage and participate in their communities. Connor Floyd added, a particular challenge for Cambodia is further exacerbated by the absence and availability of specialized professions such as occupational therapists, speech therapists, and specialized teachers. In this regard, Secretary of State Amjan Makara proposed to promote professional training of people with autism so that they have the skills to make their own income and stand on their own feet when they have no family there to support them. He continued that provinces with rehabilitation centers should consider setting up rehabilitation labor programs, including mobile medical rehabilitation, to cover provinces that do not yet have rehabilitation centers so that people with autism can receive quality health care and rehabilitation services and promote awareness of autism situation in Cambodia through commemorating the national and international days of awareness through social media, ministries, institutions, local authorities, local communities, schools, and families so that they can provide efficient services in accordance with their needs. The Secretary of State also reminded and requested the ministries and institutions and private sector actors that have not yet recruited persons with disabilities in their workforce to comply with the quota set by national law and rush recruiting by giving priorities to those with autism. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 among 160 children worldwide has autism. Overall, the prevalence of autism in many low and middle-income countries, including Cambodia, remains unclear. In Cambodia, over the last 10 years, the disability sector has made significant progress, both in the formulation of policies and legal norms, and in the provision of support services, such as the new disability law, which is in a stage of finalization. In addition, the National Center for Persons with Disabilities Cambodia is currently under construction and scheduled to launch in 2023 as a place which will provide a variety of services, including rehabilitation services and vocational training services for persons with disabilities, including those with autism. Lekanin, EAC News.
The spokesman of the National Election Committee, Hung Putia, has told EAC News that there is no international observers for the 2022 Commune District Council elections, while the number of national observers alone may increase to nearly 70,000. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has more.
The spokesperson of the NEC has said that as of Wednesday, 25th May, the NEC has registered more than 50,000 national observers for the Commune District Council elections, while more than 10,000 observers are still in the process of being checked. In total, he estimates that there will be more than 69,000 national observers for these elections. The NEC stopped accepting applications for national observers on 25th May 2022. As for international observers, Hong Putia has confirmed that there are none present for this election. However, there will instead be special guest diplomats in Cambodia. Currently, 3 embassies have requested to be special guests for the Commune District Council elections, including the embassies of Japan, the European Union, and Australia. The UN in Cambodia also made a post on its Facebook page on Wednesday, 25th May, clarifying why no UN observers were sent for these elections, as the provision of UN electoral assistance can only be on the basis of a decision of the Security Council or General Assembly establishing a mandate for the UN to provide electoral assistance, and/or a formal written request for electoral assistance from an appropriate national authority. This decision or request would then be followed by an electoral needs assessment by the Electoral Assistance Division of the Department of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs. Then an approval of the focal point for electoral assistance matters would be needed before the UN system would be able to provide or make project commitments on the electoral assistance. Although no observers have been deployed, the UN confirms that it will continue to closely monitor developments in Cambodia, also stating that the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights normally monitors the general human rights situation in Cambodia, which is work that will continue during the election period. The 5th Commune District Council election will be held on 5th June, with 17 political parties taking part. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
Cambodia's reported no new COVID-19 cases for the 19th day straight. There have been no new patient recoveries and no new deaths. The total number of Omicron cases in Kingdom stands at 15,821, with 1,362 imported and 14,459 local cases. Cambodia COVID-19 case tally has started at 136,262 and the death toll stands at 356. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 133,201, and the tally for imported cases remains at 21,219.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The United States does not seek to sever China from the global economic but wants Beijing to adhere to international rules, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in the long-awaited speech on Thursday, the 26th of May.
Washington will not block China from growing its economy or try to change Beijing's political system, Blinken said, but it will defend international law and institutions that maintain peace and security and make it possible for countries, including the United States and China, to coexist. During a 45-minute speech at George Washington University, Blinken said the U.S. is determined to avoid conflict or a new Cold War. While Blinken credited the hard work of the Chinese people for their country's historic economic transformation in the last 4 decades, he said that under China's leader Xi Jinping, the ruling Chinese Communist Party has become more repressive at home and more aggressive abroad. In the speech, he laid out the contours of a strategy to invest in U.S. competitiveness and align with allies and partners to compete with China. U.S.-China relations sank to their lowest level in decades under the Trump administration and have soured further under President Joe Biden, who has so far kept up his Republican predecessor Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods, but also has pursued closer ties with allies in the Indo-Pacific and beyond to push back on Beijing's growing influence. 17 months into his administration, Biden, a Democrat, has faced criticism from Republicans and some foreign policy watchers for not announcing a formal strategy on China, the world's second largest economy after the United States and Washington's main strategic rival.
Prime Minister Masua Sangava of Solomon Islands and visiting Chinese State Councillor Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Thursday expressed willingness to strengthen ties and deepen cooperation between the two countries.
Sogavare thanked China for providing strong support and great help to the development of the Solomon Islands. He said the island country firmly supports China in safeguarding its sovereignty and territorial integrity, firmly adheres to the One China principle, and always stands shoulder to shoulder with China and on the right side of history. Sogavare said China has become the biggest cooperative partner of the Solomon Islands on basic infrastructure and a reliable development partner. He thanked China for providing anti-pandemic supplies, rapid test equipment, and sending medical teams to his country. He also appreciated the Chinese side for sending policing supplies and police advisors to help maintain social order of the Solomon Islands after the riot in Honiara. The Solomon Islands and China have conducted cooperation on the basis of equal treatment and mutual respect, and the connection in various fields has become increasingly close, bringing tangible benefits to the Solomon Islands people, the Prime Minister noted. For his part, Wang said the Chinese side appreciates the Solomon Islands' firm determination to safeguard its own national interests, strong desire to develop China-Solomon Islands friendly cooperation, and adherence to the One China principle. China also staunchly backs the Solomon Islands' efforts to safeguard national sovereignty, independence, protect national unity and solidarity, and speed up the realization of national prosperity on a path chosen by the country. Wang said it's not long since the two countries established diplomatic relationship, but the development of bilateral ties has been sound, steady, and fast. China and the Solomon Islands have become good friends of mutual trust and good partners supporting each other, with political mutual trust between the two countries ever deepening and pragmatic cooperation promising broad prospects, he noted. Facts have proven that the political decision of the Solomon Islands to establish diplomatic relationship with China is in line with the development and progress of the times, as well as the fundamental and long-term interests of the people of the Solomon Islands, Wang said. China is ready to work with the Solomon Islands to forge ironclad ties and deepen cooperation between the two sides so as to benefit the two peoples, Wang added. The emerging economies are rising en masse, and peace and development are still the irreversible trend of the times despite the unilateral bullying, Wang noted. China is ready to enhance coordination and cooperation with the Solomon Islands in multilateral organizations such as the United Nations to uphold true multilateralism, accelerate the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, cope with climate change, and jointly safeguard the rightful interests of medium and small countries. Sogavare said that Solomon Islands is also willing to strengthen communication and coordination with China on international issues. After the meeting, Sogavare and Wang witnessed the signing of a series of cooperation documents on blue economy, tariff preferences, health and anti-epidemic efforts, civil aviation, and disaster prevention and mitigation. Wang also met with Acting Governor-General John Pateson Odi and Foreign Minister Jeremiah Manele on Thursday. Wang is visiting the Solomon Islands as part of his tour to the South Pacific island nations, which will take him to Kiribati, Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, Vanuatu, and Papua New Guinea, as well as Timor-Leste.
Highlighting the importance of the relations.
Let's have a look at today's finance. The CXS index is currently 508.88 points, down 1.79 points or 0.35%. The daily exchange rate is 4,063 real to the US dollar. Now let's have a look what else is happening around the finance in the world. World shares rose on Thursday and the US dollar edged lower, a day after minutes from the US Federal Reserve May meeting indicated the central bank would remain flexible and might pause rates hikes later in the year. Wall Street closed higher with three main US indices positioned for the biggest weekly gains since mid-March. The MSCI's benchmark for global stock was up 1.54% at 4:30 Eastern Time. Europe's pan-regional stock 600, equally benchmark, index rose 0.78%, while the MSCI's broadcast index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan fell 0.02%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, DJI, rose 516.91 points, or 1.61% to 32,637.19. The SP 500 SPX gained 79.11 points, or 1.99% to 4,057.84. The Nasdaq Composite IXIC added 305.91 points, or 2.68% to 11,740.65. The three index were on track to snap their longest streak in decades after weekly declines. The US dollar fell 0.284% against a basket of gold currencies. If the Fed gets less aggressive on tightening, that would weaken the greenback safe haven appeal. The euro was up 0.44% to $1.0727. The commodities Brent futures rose $3.37 or 3% to settle at $117.40 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate cruise $3.76 or 3.4% to settle at $114.09. US gold futures were up 0.17% to $1,849.50. Bitcoin's rollercoaster ride. Bitcoin's limited history isn't much to guide on the crypto winters, which are deafening and prolonged bearishes for a month or more. There has been 5 since 2017 and 3 since 2021. Last year's 2 crashes lasted 14 and 10 weeks and crushed Bitcoin to lose 45% to 47%. If it was a typical Bitcoin latest drop, 36%, shed 8 weeks, has road left to run. Bitcoin dominance and measure of the ratio between the market gap to the rest of the cryptocurrency markets has jumped to a 7th-month high at over 44%, even as price was decreased. Bitcoin has lost half its value since November 10th peak of 69,000. This week it's flirting with 30,000 after touching a 17th-month low at 25,401 on May 12th. It remains the largest digital asset by the market gap, but the market values of cryptocurrencies now stands at $1.3 trillion, less than half the $3 trillion peak in November. Total spot market volume for all cryptocurrencies at major exchanges had fallen 18.4 billion as from Monday, less than half of the 48.2 billion seen on May 14th, which was the highest volume for 2022, according to news research site The Block. Blockchain analysts from Glassnode said on Monday 9th that Bitcoin at 33,600 puts 40% of investors underwater on their holdings. According to currency.com, Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, ended yesterday at 29,508, down 0.41%, as this afternoon in London it was trading at 28,350. Bitcoin was down 4.2% over the past 24 hours and 4.3% lower over the past 7 days, according to CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin's market cap was $339.5 billion, representing around 45.4% of the crypto market, capitalizing, while the lead crypto's trading volume was around 13.6% higher at $34.5 billion in the past 24 hours. Many folks are left wondering that what they should do with their coins, keep holding on for their dear life or book losses and move on, said Lindsay Bell, Chief of Markets and Market Strategist of Ally Investment. It's a good reminder that crypto probably shouldn't be more than, say, 1 to 2% of your portfolio. This is the latest news on finance. Tune in Monday for more. Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, Far Penlu Salpak is pleasant to present the Tingi Tanu International Circus Festival in Battambang from the 29th of May to the 3rd of June 2022. This edition will bring artists from Cambodia, Thailand, Taiwan and France to perform an open, productive dialogue with students to inspire them to pursue their dreams through the arts. The EAC News team went to Siem Reap to see the FAR's performance and to discuss the arts as well as have overcome the COVID-19 to reignite Tingi Tanu.
Tingi Tanu means here and there in Khmer. It is a 6-day festival to showcase performances and engage festival goers in the arts, free performances, and local food delicacies. Tini Tinu will start on Sunday 29th of May with a puppet and circus parade across the heritage town of Battambang and close the celebrations on Friday 3rd of June with a final concert by the artists of Clap Your Hands. The festival's aim is to bring together artists to share experiences, participate in workshops, and most importantly, inspire young people, engage the local community, and promote arts in Cambodian society, bringing greater unity and understanding of shared values. Craig Dodge, the director of sales and marketing for FAR, the Cambodian circus, said that when COVID-19 hit, it was a real shock to the system because FAR's profit go back to supporting the school in Battambang to provide free academic and artistic education and more. What got them through the pandemic was the people who continued to believe in their mission and sacrifices made by the artists and staff.
But it was largely through the support of those people who really believe in the project, as well as a lot of sacrifices by the artists and the staff, and everybody understood. I mean, nobody was really unrealistic about it. Everybody knew. So many people who could took voluntary leaves to go back to their hometown to be with their family. The people who stayed agreed to work reduced hours with reduced pay. And then now things are kind of coming back, and because we've all gone through that together, there's a solidarity to it.
Viban Kong, a FAR circus artist, was thankful that he could go to the FAR Punlu Salapat school in Battambang even during the pandemic to keep his body in shape and in preparation for shows in Siem Reap when they restart.
នៅបាត់ដំបងមានសាលាមួយសម្រាប់ឲ្យពួកខ្ញុំហាត់សមដើម្បីពង្រឹងឲ្យវាពង្រឹងរាងកាយឲ្យវាកាន់តែមាំដើម្បីត្រឡប់មកសម្ដែងនៅសៀមរាបវិញ
Rasik, a circus goer, loved the circus and aspires to be like the performers one day.
The show is very nice because all the gymnastics looks very hard. I also want to do that.
Now that Cambodia has fully reopened the country, including lifting quarantine mandate for those who are fully vaccinated, FAR Punlu Salapat is reuniting the Tini Tinu International Festival with much fun and laughter planned for everyone, even despite the short preparation time they had with the support of Battambang Provincial Governor. Organizing art festivals is part of FAR's strategy to bring arts to the people and engage with the community to build cultural identities around shared heritage. We hope festivals like this will raise Battambang's profile as the creative arts and cultural hub of Cambodia, shared Osman Kajvaja, the director of FAR Punlu Salapat. Watch this space for the upcoming Spotlight edition on FAR the Cambodian Circus.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV or your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.